Hi everyone and welcome back to Sprinkle with Paper. Today I'm going to be sharing how to make my custom bow garland and cupcake toppers. The supplies needed are going to be cardstock of your choice. I'm going to be using this teal and black, and then I'm also going to be using a glitter cardstock. So this is the Recollections brand, but it's not to be confused with the Recollections brand that I use for cake toppers. This is a lightweight cardstock, and when you see it in the store, it might seem thicker than it actually is, because once you open up this plastic covering, you're going to notice that there's a piece of cardboard behind the cardstock just to keep it laying flat, because it is actually such a lightweight paper. And this is the perfect paper for creating bows. The other supplies needed are going to be a hole punch, ribbon or fishing line, masking tape, your Cricut mat, and then your bow template. So I made this bow template years ago, and I actually used it before I even had a Cricut machine. So what I used to do is I would put my colored cardstock into the printer, and I would print out copies of this template onto the colored cardstock, and then I would cut it out by hand. It was a lot of work. But once I got the Cricut machine, I just uploaded this template into Cricut Design Space, and then I cut the bows out with the Cricut machine, and it made it so much easier. So if you don't have a Cricut machine, that's okay. I'm going to put this template down in the description bar, and you can cut it out by hand. But if you do have a Cricut machine, I already have this saved as a project in Cricut Design Space. So I will link that here because the template is already uploaded into the project, and it's sized for both the cupcake toppers and the bow garland. You can adjust the size if you need to, but I have them sized for how I'm going to be showing you how to create them today. Now let's jump into Cricut Design Space. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this bow project public, which is exciting. I love all the confetti. And then I'm going to share the link down in the description box and also over on sprinklewithpaper.net. So either way, you can just click on that link and it will take you straight to this bow project. And then once you open it up, you're going to find a gray template, which is going to be for the bow garland. And then over on the right-hand side, you can just click on the little eye and unhide the pink bows, all the pieces, and that is going to be for the cupcake toppers. Now just click Make It, and then over on the cut page, you can cut as many bows as you would like. Once all of our bows are done cutting, we're going to start assembling, and we're going to start with the body of our bow. Now this is the most important part when assembling our bow. We're going to roll the outside of the body of the bow into the middle. And the reason we're rolling and not folding is because we don't want that fold line. We want our bows to be nice and bubbly. Now we're just going to secure the ends to the middle by adding a dab of hot glue, and then we're just going to roll the ends into the middle and then just kind of press it down, hold it for a couple seconds, and then add another dab of hot glue and then secure the other end. Next, we're going to attach the center of the bow, which is just that rectangle piece we had cut out earlier. And we're just going to add another dab of hot glue to the center of the body of the bow. And then we're going to place the rectangle right there in the center. And then we'll turn the body of the bow upside down, add another dab of hot glue, and secure those ends of the rectangle. So we're just going to be folding them in and hot gluing them onto each other. Next, we're going to move on to the tails of the bow. And for this, we're just going to flip the body of the bow over, and we're going to put just a line of hot glue across the middle of that bow, kind of where we had folded in the rectangle pieces. And then we're going to secure those tails onto the back. And then I like to fan my tails out a little bit. You can make them any way you'd like, but I like to make it so they're each kind of fanning out. So as you can see, these bows are really simple to make. And after a couple bows, you'll really get the hang of making the loops of the body of your bow. So if you find yourself getting a little frustrated on the first bow, just give yourself a little bit of grace. And after 2 or 3 bows, you'll have it down and you'll be able to whip these out so quickly. Now we're going to move on to the cupcake topper bows, and these are made exactly the same way as the larger bows, but they are a little bit harder to work with just because the pieces are smaller. So just like before, we want to try really hard not to fold in the end pieces to make the loops, but we want to roll them in to avoid those creases. So going ahead and roll those pieces in and secure them with hot glue just like we had done with the larger bows. And now we're going to move on to the middle rectangle. And again, we're just going to add that dab of hot glue in the center. And then fold the ends towards the back and secure it with hot glue. And now we're going to add the tail pieces. Once you've secured the tail pieces to the back with hot glue, we're now going to add our cupcake topper stick. So here you can either use a lollipop stick, a toothpick, an extra long toothpick. I normally would use an extra long toothpick, but I didn't have any on hand, so I'm using smaller ones today. And these work, but I normally like the bows to be up a little bit higher off of the cupcake so the tails don't touch the frosting. And again, I just use a little dab of hot glue to secure the stick to the middle of the back of the bow. And then I just hold it in place for a couple seconds. And then when it's drying, I like to prop it up on something so the stick doesn't fall down. So I absolutely love making these bows, and I've used them for so many different occasions. So the first time I ever used these or made these bows, it was for my niece's bassinet in the hospital, and it turned out so cute. I put her name in the middle, and then I added the bows to the end, and it's still one of my favorite projects. I'll be sure to show a picture at the end of this video. But I've also made them for bachelorette parties, bridal showers, first birthdays, baby showers. There's so many creative ways you could use them. So for the bachelorette party, it was cute because we hung like little pieces of lingerie on a banner, like on a piece of string, and then put the bows in between the lingerie, which was really cute. We used hot pink and gold glitter and the black and white polka dots. It was really cute. And then for our baby shower, we've done the same thing, but with like pastel colors and added little onesies and little hair bows in between. And then just for first birthdays, we've put them on high chairs. We've used them just as banners by themselves. So there's so many different ways that you could incorporate these into different parties just by changing out the colors. And then there's also been times where I couldn't find a print that I was looking for. So what I did is I just printed out a sheet of paper with a print that I had liked that I had found online and then created bows out of those. So just get creative, but basically the possibilities are endless. Now that all the bows are complete, we're going to finish the garland. So what we need to do is we're going to grab that hole punch and we're just going to punch a hole on the loops of the bows, and we're going to do it on the back side, the back corners. Now when punching your holes, be careful not to squeeze your bows too tight. You want to make sure that you don't crease or bend those loops that we worked so hard on rolling in. Now I'm just going to string my bows using fishing line. So at this point you could use ribbon, fishing line, twine, anything that you'd like, but I like my bows to look like they're floating, so I always just use fishing line. If you have any questions about making your bows, please leave them down in the comments below. I'm also going to leave the link to the template and then also to the Cricut project down in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. And until next time, happy crafting!